I'm back at home in the home studio after my trip to Orlando. Had a nice time there. Drove back home safely, all good. Got some Chipotle on the way home. Back to basics. No more of these
Back
fake
to the
meat.
basics. Classic vegan stop right there.
Yeah, right. Since like 2013 or so, that's been just a go-to vegan stop. Maybe even before that. But yeah, it was good. It's always good. A little salty though. Even you can taste the salt in it there to me. Whereas I used to not be able to taste it. You just heard it was high in sodium. Now you can tell.
Where what'd you get? Did you get the sofritas or did you get just a fajita?
I went with a veggie salad is what I chose. So it's the beans on top
Veggie
of rice
salad?
on top of lettuce. Yeah, I didn't want the whole burrito. I don't know. You don't like that?
No, I don't go to Chipotle and get a salad. Come on.
I think the burrito shells where all the sodium is, or a lot of the sodium. I tasted
Yeah.
it still in the
I
guacamole.
mean, I get the bowl.
Yeah. Then you don't get those good, nice greens in there though.
What do you mean?
You get lettuce. You don't get like the
That's true.
kale greens and things.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's what I did.
But dying to know, did you get some steak at the steakhouse?
No, I didn't do it. Went
You
to
didn't
Disney
do it.
Springs. Went to Disney Springs that night. Didn't even eat at Disney Springs. Ended up eating Domino's pizza with no cheese on it back in the hotel lobby at like 12:30.
Yikes.
Not a very good dinner. Yeah, it wasn't good.
Why didn't you eat at Disney Springs?
I don't know. We just didn't. We were there with some Colombian people and Honduran people. Maybe just cultural difference. You go to Disney Springs. That's not dinner, not necessarily on the table. Although I ate dinner with them. One of the same couples. We ate dinner at Disney Springs a few years ago. So I guess that's not a good theory. But it was good. It was a nice time. Had a good. But missed the opportunity. Maybe once in a lifetime opportunity to try the FU steak, the freaking unbelievable chunk steak at Charlie's. Oh well. All right. The only other item of interest I think from that trip is that I did not continue my my 75 hard thing.
Okay.
Kind of knew going in I wouldn't be continuing that because there was no way I was not going to drink a beer or something. So I did that many times. But I did walk most of the days. Usually walk to the place, which is a 45-minute round trip thing to the futsal center. So I got a lot of walks in. Tried to eat a salad when I could. Made sure to read my book, which is easy. Drank more water than I would. So I kept the things up, but there was no formality. Not even like I'm striving to hit the soft 75 or something today. I don't know.
You just tried to live a little healthier.
That's what I did, and I mean honestly, because I had started the thing strictly for 4 days before I left, it really did make me make healthier choices throughout the whole trip than I would have otherwise. So I'm glad to have started, and already went for a walk today, so I'm back on track now.
You gonna do hard today?
Yeah, I'll go back to that, and I don't know if I'm gonna try to like restart the count and like actually strive to one day get to 75 in a row. But I don't think so because I'm going to have a golf trip in a month or so that will, I just don't want to miss the fun of that, the drinking part.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just keep adding to the checklist of days that I've done it. And I'll be happy with that. It's good. It's good. Got me swinging the kettlebell again a little bit. So it's nice. It has been a good thing. Yes. All right. Anything else from you, Doug? How'd your Amazon pitch go?
It went all right. It was a little awkward. As expected, but it went well. 800 and some people watched it, so that's good.
All right, how many sales were closed?
We don't know yet. It kind of comes in slowly, but
it's not like TVC where you don't get a ticker on the side of the screen that shows every time someone buys.
Yeah, you do, and no one did it during the 20 minutes that I was live. So
you didn't have enough free gifts or something to throw in. You need to come prepared.
I know, I do. But I don't know. I think it went okay. Those things are so awkward, especially just talking to yourself. But talking to other people, but just by yourself.
Yeah.
And trying to do a product, it's awkward. But it's fun. And some people showed up. Mr. Jeffrey showed up. I think Jessica showed up. I can't remember. There were a couple people who came over, and I'm real grateful for that.
Good. All right. Good. Glad to hear that. All right. Well, good morning to Brandon Turner, Britters, Anna, Matt O'Connor, Dale Stevens, Leslie Knight, Garuda Legends, Jessica Goodenough, and Danielle P., who says it's still a win in her book to try to make some healthier choices when traveling. And yeah, that's exactly what I think. It was a win.
You
And
know what I did, Matt, yesterday?
what? No, I don't.
I prepped for our golf event.
Our golf event, mine and yours.
Yeah, the day we ever play golf together.
Uh-huh.
I went and played yesterday.
You just
Evening.
played, didn't you? Like a couple days ago, or you said you were going to play?
Oh,
Is that what it was?
yesterday. Yeah, I said I was going to, and then I played yesterday.
Is this the annual scramble that you do?
No, this was just this was me and two of my cousins
Okay.
that are in town. One
Yeah.
of them, I guess, is a what do you call your cousin's son? Your second cousin?
I think that's the second cousin. I've also heard someone say that's a first cousin once removed, but I'm not really sure.
Should be first cousin once removed. Anyway, he's 15 and he's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
He shot a 74 or something. But yeah, so played with him and his dad, and it was a lot of fun. It was really fun, actually. Every time I play, I think I like that sport a lot. I just wish it didn't take me so long to play it, and it wasn't so expensive.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. I mean, it's not that expensive. It's like a cheap. If you go to, I'm sure you have one in Black Mountain, like the Asheville Public Course. Is that where you went? No, you went to
No, I
Black
went to the
Mountain.
Black Mountain Public Course. You know, but it's still
Can't you pay 18 for like $15 or something?
no,
If you go in the right hours.
It's like to ride, it's like $40.
Ah, well, you got to walk.
Yeah, you can walk for $28 or something like that during the week.
I mean, walking's the better move. If you're gonna pick up golf as a hobby, you sort of have to walk. Otherwise, you're just what are you doing? You're just wasting your time. You're not getting any fitness benefit.
But I don't know. It was really fun, man. It was I don't know. I'm gonna keep going so that when that one day when you and I actually do get to play,
okay,
I'm gonna whoop up on you big time.
All right, sounds good. Anna says, "What handicap do you play off, Doug?"
I don't even know how to calculate a handicap. I don't really even know what a handicap is.
And you don't actually calculate. You enter it in the computer after every round. You put your scores in hole by hole, and tell it what course you played at. I mean, this is how you used to do it. At the course, you would have to do this because they had a handicap machine there. Now it's probably all internet. I don't know how it works now, but
I
yeah,
shot a 94. Par was 71.
I mean, it's not bad for just picking up and doing it.
Yeah,
Not much practice.
Back nine. I shot 9 over. So, which I felt really strong about. The first couple of holes were just total disaster. But
yeah, that happens. I feel like there's a lot of young kids now who basically are scratch golfers. Like that when I played in high school, that was kind of rare to see someone who would shoot in the low mid 70s. In high school age. Now I feel like it's just everybody does. It's just like the sport has been revolutionized, probably by Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I mean he plays all the time. He plays multiple times a week, I think. And yeah, I don't know.
Cool, good. Britter says she's lives on the golf course and has never played. Probably should try one day. Yeah, just go out after hours and go hit some balls into the green or something. Well, I guess if you've never played, that wouldn't be that you wouldn't be hitting them into the green. You'd just be whacking it around. Okay, good. All right. Anything else? Anything else going on, Doug? Political turmoil, Democratic Party up in arms.
Yep.
Have you? I forget. Did you endorse a candidate on this show officially
for president?
Yeah.
No.
You want to endorse an action of Biden, drop out or stay in?
We want to talk about this?
No, I just wondered if you had an endorsement or not.
I would. I'm ready for the party to move on.
Ready for the party to move on. Okay. Good. I think that's probably smart. Can't say I disagree with that idea.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Well, then that's it. I guess we'll jump into our weather report today. We got a kind of fun weather report, and then the article is, one of these studies that is kind of interesting, but they come along so often that it's hard to know what is really that meaningful. But we'll have fun with it. We will get started right here. I don't have any music today because, you know why? Because I didn't. My sound machine charger is also my Nintendo Switch charger, and I brought the Nintendo Switch charger to the trip, which meant my computer at home wasn't charging the sound.
Okay.
We have no music right now. I didn't actually play the Switch for the record. I keep thinking I'm going to get back into that Zelda, the old Zelda.
Oh, you brought it for yourself, not for
no, for myself. Figured there'd be some downtime, and there was, but I didn't get a chance to play Zelda.
That's funny.
Anyway. Okay, here we go. Speaking of the politics, Doug, we mentioned one party. Now the Republican National Convention, a bit of a surprise. The longest line, according to Politico's Ben Johansson. Are you familiar with his work?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, he tweeted a photo saying, surprisingly long line for the vegan barbecue stand at the RNC. And a couple people had taken a picture of this thing. PETA had commented on somebody's post about it. I don't know what it was, some sort of pro-vegan thing. But yeah, it's a place called Grey Jet Cafe that says on their website that they provide a full-service traditional vegan vegetarian menu. But it's just fake meat vegan barbecue place, and the picture shows a ton of people in line for it. So I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, which is funny. And then there's all these tweets at the top saying the RNC is going woke, which is funny. I got a kick out of this, man. Not because it's. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's cool because so see these tents here, which I even more surprising.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't just hire a vegan food truck. You can see on the right side that they're actual food trucks, right? That are branded their things. This is like they contracted with different restaurants or catering services or whatever.
Right. That's a good point.
And one of them was vegan barbecue, and they selected. And I think I think that's great. I think why not?
It is good. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic thing. And maybe I'm biased because I'm vegan, but I like the crossover stuff. And honestly, if there was at the DNC, if there was, is that what it's called, the DNC?
Yep.
If there was a big barbecue truck there, I honestly wouldn't be a non-vegan barbecue. It wouldn't be that surprised. And
no, of course not.
I saw people who looked like traditionally Republicans over there at the DNC in that line. It's like, good, fine, that's great. I like to see the mixing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think it's
and the just also kind of funny. Let's see if I can find the picture. The one next to them is called African cuisine, which is could be so many things. Like Africa is huge.
Right. But go down to 5 dishes.
The 5 dishes. You got
a lot of vegan stuff is African, or African food is vegan at these events. But that I see goat curry there, so that's not
goat curry, coconut chicken curry. You got fried cabbage. I don't know where that's from. Jollof rice. I think it's like West Africa. I don't know. And then I was trying to figure out how much it costs. $18 for a vegan traditional brisket sandwich. I don't know. I think it's great.
I'd love to know more. I wish people had interviewed those people in line and asked what their deal was, because it does seem like quite a non-Republican National Convention move to do.
It's all the reporters and like those kind of people.
Right.
Not the actual attendees. No, I don't know that for sure.
Garuda says African food is not vegan, and then LOLs me. I thought Ethiopian food, every time I go there, it's pretty easy to get a whole bunch of vegan food. And I'm saying when I go to Veg Fest and there's a bunch of different things, often like the most enticing one that isn't making up all this fake meat stuff is African type foods. I honestly don't know what, more specific than that, what they are, but could become kind of chickpea dish or other bean dish and some greens and stuff. I don't know. All right.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you are in Africa, right?
Right. Probably does.
Yeah.
Probably does. And I think more likely, I don't think the typical African diet is vegan, but I'm guessing, like a lot of countries, there are a whole bunch of dishes that happen to be vegan. And if you want, it's easy to combine a few of those into a truck for a vegan event.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you can do. All right. And then one more thing about this. Reporter John Bowden also said, anecdotally, I'd like to tell you all to know that when I went through the food trucks area outside the RNC a few minutes ago, the longest line was for the vegan barbecue booth. So 2 people saying that's was actually the longest line, which is just shocking to me.
And Dale says that JD Vance, the VP pick, his wife is mentioned being vegetarian. So there you go.
Oh, interesting. Also a crypto guy. So that's kind of good. You know what it could be though? It could be that if all the the omnivores, money and attention and line waiting is split up among 100 places.
Yeah.
And you get the few who are vegan to go to one place. Maybe it'll appear to be the most popular, but it's really just that it's the only choice for that type of diet.
That's a good point.
Okay. Well, there's another Twitter thing. Let's jump out of that. Elon Musk yesterday, I think it was yesterday, tweeted, "Wow, steak and eggs with coffee in the morning really feels like a power up!" Exclamation point, leading people to speculate that maybe he was heading towards a carnivore diet.
Mm.
He a few years ago had been on a podcast talking. I think it was on Joe Rogan. He said he eats a donut every day in the morning, saying he'd rather just eat well than live an extra long time. Which I kind of think he would have changed that tune by now.
Yeah.
Just with the rise of this longevity, stuff trend. But anyway, I don't know if he's moving towards a carnivore diet or not. I would hope not. But who knows?
This one cracks me up too. I got joy out of this one too because because that's such like a billionaire thing to say. Like the most basic, common, true, omnivore, tried and true, heart of America breakfast that you can imagine: steak and eggs. Like he's like, oh my god, you'll never believe what I just discovered: steak and eggs for breakfast and coffee. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a good
I
point.
thought that was funny.
Okay, getting away from Twitter news. An interesting article in JACC Cardio Oncology suggests that a Mediterranean diet could support longevity and cardiovascular health in cancer survivors. The thing about this study was that it's known, the Mediterranean diet is thought to help with prevention of cancer. In this case, they looked at people who actually had cancer and how long they lived afterwards. And supposedly the Mediterranean diet was helpful with that. However, there was some issues with the study. People suggesting that I think the study didn't start including people until they'd already lived longer than 9 years after their cancer diagnosis. So a strange kind of bias could have come in there. All right, more interesting, more fun news. Kellanova. That is I think the company that is Kellogg's now, or owns Kellogg's. They're launching Eggo coffee, Eggo waffles. You can now get all that goodness in a cup of coffee, the flavor of Eggo waffles. Not just coffee, but in the Keurig K-cup format, available in mid-August. You can get maple syrup Eggo, vanilla Eggo coffee, cinnamon toast Eggo, blueberry Eggo, and chocolate chip Eggo. I don't understand. Only one of them has the word coffee in it, so maybe the other ones aren't even coffees. They're just Keurig drinks. I'm not really sure. It's not the first time this has happened. Kellanova did Eggo brunch in a jar sipping cream, a liqueur with 20% alcohol by volume. They did that last year. And Kraft has done IHOP coffee before with coffees that are inspired by flavors like chocolate chip and buttery syrup pancakes. So, not unprecedented. Pretty weird, though.
Yeah, would you
I'm
drink
sure you're not
something
into
like
this.
that?
What?
Would you drink one of these?
No, I've never, ever considered drinking one of these. I'd taste it if someone had it, but I'd say it's about 100% chance that I would not want to keep drinking it. Would not want to have that in my own house.
This is one of those things that like somebody at Eggo said, you know what we should do is we should get a partnership with K-cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they should have just stopped there and said, okay, let's like think of one like vanilla Eggo coffee, right? Like that. I bet that tastes like a vanilla frappuccino or whatever with
Right. Right.
and we'll just call it vanilla Eggo and people will like it. But instead they went with maple syrup Eggo, vanilla Eggo, cinnamon toast Eggo, blueberry Eggo, chocolate chip Eggo. Like like no one's gonna buy all this stuff. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's like
Well,
way over the top.
yeah, I don't know how it's gonna be sold. Maybe they'll all come in one pack, and it's like a big sampler pack of all of them,
Okay, all right,
which would make it maybe a more tantalizing thing when
right.
you see
I
it in
can
the
see
store.
that. Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I do find it surprising that enough people really want this. There's all kinds of other coffee things out there. Starbucks coffee, obviously, Pete's, Dunkin'. They all have K-cup versions. I'm sure there's plenty of flavored coffees out there, the vanilla and hazelnuts. Like, it just seems weird that people want all this stuff in the coffee. I just don't get it. I don't know. If it was like for kids, I kind of get it. Kids are into this dumb stuff, dumb ideas like this. But grown-ups who just want to get their coffee, get the buzz on,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know
I
who.
think a lot of people want that. They want the like sugar
Really?
hit and stuff in their coffee. People add a lot of sugar to coffee. I think more people add sugar to coffee than we realize.
That's true.
And sweet creamers and stuff, which is
Yeah.
essentially what this is.
I believe it. Anybody here in our audience want this? Bridger says most people don't like actual coffee; they like flavoring. I think that seems right. Most people probably don't want actual coffee. Garuda says coffee donuts are good, and Katie C is back. Says I fell off when the show was at like 6 a.m. and haven't remembered to bounce back in time. Okay, yeah, it was early that one day.
Are you a coffee flavored person, like coffee ice cream or a coffee donut or coffee cake? Does coffee cake have coffee? No, it doesn't.
No, it's just cake. I like coffee ice cream a lot. That's probably one of my favorite ice cream flavors. Second to vanilla, or just ahead of vanilla. But no, in general, I would not get a coffee flavored thing.
You're a vanilla ice cream guy?
Yeah, I think if it's a good, high quality ice cream, then vanilla is pretty good. But I don't ever eat it. I mean, I don't consider most plant based ones to be high quality ice creams. Yeah, the only times I really like it is when it's with coffee or something, like when that affogato I had in Italy. No, in Copenhagen. That was good. Yeah, why you don't do that?
Not a lot. I mean, I don't mind it, but I just like it. I usually don't want it.
Right. You're a pure person. You only like pretzels mixed with watermelon.
Exactly. Now you get me, Matt.
Yeah.
Which I had the other day as a snack. It was delicious.
All right. Good. Okay, good. Well, there's our weather report. This might be a short show today because, like I said, this article we have is just not that much to get into. But
if anybody has any questions for us, hit us up.
A little impromptu AMA. Just trying to see if there's anything else in the comments here. Not too much. Leslie Knight, back to the Republican National Convention thing. Says, I'm not sure why people think that conservatives would be plant-based. Conservatives don't want people or the government telling them what they can or can't eat. Maybe she means why people think they wouldn't be plant-based. I mean, I think people generally think that they aren't plant-based, right?
That's right. I would say so.
And that if you are, that the plant-based is the result of a government conspiracy to make everyone start eating bugs and stuff.
But I think that there's a fairly strong, and I'm all for this, there's a fairly strong group of whole food plant-based eaters who lean conservative.
Because they're older?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
You got, I mean, Dr. Khan is a proud conservative.
Yep. Okay, let's get to the story real quick, and we'll see what we get. We'll see if anybody has questions for us. By the way, we will do a show tomorrow, right, Doug? We're still doing that?
Yeah. Did anybody reply in the comments like I asked?
Wait, if they didn't, then I don't.
They must not want it. Did you look? I'm gonna look.
No, didn't look. I'm looking now. I only just today published the show from Tuesday, by the way, because I forgot to do that. Tuesday got out of hand for me, and then Wednesday I was driving home. No one said they wanted it. Well, Mr. Jeffrey did. I'm not counting him. He says we really want.
Well, I don't know. If no one says they wanted it, then
Well, we need to make a call. We're going to make a call before the end of the show. Otherwise, people won't know what to expect.
I mean, I'm good to do it if you want to do it.
Okay. All right. We'll do a show tomorrow, 11 a.m. normal time.
Okay.
Okay. To the article of the day. Not exactly what all the anti-seed oilers want to hear. But the headline is swapping butter for plant-based oils may reduce heart disease and diabetes risk. It's from Nature Medicine. It's not an observational study. It's a clinical trial that they did where they had people split into 3 groups, 195 people, split them into 3 groups. One group ate the diet higher in saturated animal fats for 16 weeks. That, of course, would include the butter, although they didn't say that I saw specifically that they were eating butter. Could have been any other animal fat as well. So that was one group. The other group was eating higher monounsaturated or polyunsaturated plant-based fats. I assume that's one in each group. They did blood sample data, and after 16 weeks, did more blood sample data. And what they found was that they had this multi-lipid score where they're combining the blood, the different lipid things in your score. I guess they could get something that they consider better than like total cholesterol measurement. And with that, they found that the sorry. Well, it's a little confusing, but they found that the plant-based groups over the animal groups had much better MLS, better multi-lipid scores. And then from that, they extrapolated and said, much better if you have a better MLS score, then you have a much lower heart disease risk. In this case, 32% versus 5%, I think, is the results from the studies. The highest groups had 32%, the lowest had 5% risk of heart disease, and a 5-fold stronger reduction in type 2 diabetes risk, 26% versus 5%. So that's what I have. Truly, I didn't go that deep into the study to figure out more details than this. But I think it's interesting. I think it's significant. I shouldn't say I think it's significant. I think it's interesting. They said that specifically avocado oils and olive oils were the ones that they were saying you could then recommend these over something like butter. Some other nutritionists then chimed in and talked about which ones are the best, what's the healthiest plant-based oil is a big section of this article. And the person says olive oil, avocado oil, peanut oil, and grapeseed oil. These are the highest in monounsaturated fat. Other unsaturated plant-based oils that are healthy include walnut oil, flax oil, and hemp oil. So those all seed oils, of course. They do point out that palm oil and coconut oil have saturated fat. So those would not qualify here for the with this study, they wouldn't put you in the better group.
Where does vegetable oil fall into this? Do you know?
Where does just good old vegetable oil fall into this?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm not sure about the profile of vegetable oil. It's not saturated fat, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that's considered a good one or not in this type of survey.
Or canola oil. I mean, I feel like a lot of things are cooked in those two oils.
Yes, I think you're right about that. I don't know. I should look deep at the study. Perhaps I can do that as we're talking to actually find what specifics they said when they said people eat these polyunsaturated or monounsaturated fat. I'm not sure what restrictions there were in terms of what they were allowed to eat and what they weren't. So I don't know. I mean, you read this, it sounds like a good headline, and then it's like this is the same thing people were saying, 20 years ago that saturated fat was bad for heart disease,
right?
And plant oils were probably better than that. Like maybe even more than 20 years ago, people have been saying. So I don't really know why this is interesting or news, but like it I guess because like the conversation in the past 5 years has been very different. There's a lot of people who are pro butter. Garuda Legends here would probably could tell us why butter and things like that are good, and maybe not just seed oils, but plant oils are bad. But I think Garuda's a fan of olive oil, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Anything here, Doug, strike you as worthy of more discussion?
No, I mean, what's interesting to me is that the oils that they call out are oils I never use. Flaxseed oil, grapeseed oil. I mean, obviously olive oil, I use that.
But those last ones aren't even the study. That's just Health Medical News Today just consulted another nutritionist and asked about good plant-based oils.
Okay.
So what I think they concluded from the study was olive and avocado oil. At least that's in the summary of the article. Swapping butter for plant-based oils like olive oil or avocado oil is one way to swap from saturated to unsaturated fat. So even that's not saying it was in the study. It was just they're just expressing a fact.
Do you ever cook with avocado oil?
No, I don't. Every now and then I'll eat like avocado oil, potato chips or something. But
yeah. I mean, really, olive oil is pretty much the only oil we use in our house. Every once in a while, coconut oil.
Yeah, and there's this thing about the omega-6s and omega-3 ratio that people say even olive oil is not so great in it. I think fish in general would be better, or fish oils better, but being plant-based, what are you gonna do? Algae oil, but it's hard to eat enough of that, obviously, to move your numbers. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. That's all with that then. What do we got? Anything else? Bridger's is checking out. She's done. She realizes this show, there's nothing else good here. And she's probably right. There's not that much. All right, here's the Garuda take I wanted just to stimulate discussion. Fruit oils are healthy and raw or pure butter is healthy. vegetable and seed oils are unhealthy due to its effects from oxidization. And I mean, I think that is the the thinking, right? You hear that all the time, oxidization from vegetable and seed oils, and I just don't know if it's true for sure. Like I know that's the theory. I understand that. I haven't seen convincing data that is the case. But if you have a Gruta, I would happily check it out. So please put a link if you got any. And fruit oils, that's I guess that's just olive oil. Are there other fruits that we take the oil of?
I was just Googling it because
well, avocado is that considered a fruit because it has a seed?
Oh yeah, because it's seed inside. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you use the seed when you get the oil, right? Like the olive, right? The oil is not coming from the pit of the olive; it's coming from the flesh. Yeah, I don't know the fruit oils in that.
Olive oil is just fruit juice, says Reddit.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, okay, cool.
All right. Don't know what else to say about it. Okay, we have no questions. No one's chiming in with. Well, someone says, "Where's Steven been?" That's a good question. I don't know. Steven's texting me a little bit now and then, but I don't know. He's busy.
I'm going to put out a little call on the Discord tomorrow for questions for tomorrow's Friday episode.
That would be good because there's seeming not to be a whole lot of new content and stuff coming out right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be good if we can get some questions going. Yeah. Anything else, Doug, to tell us about? Denise chimes in. Many seed oils are chemically processed to extract the oil. So I don't know anything about that, whether that's true or not. I know people, like I said, don't like seed oils. So I'm guessing there are plenty of things that in theory sound like they would be bad. You hear about the bleaching of oils as well. I think canola oil is one that is often said that the way they get it so clear and beautiful and sparkling as it is by some sort of what they say is a bleach process. I don't really know if they actually use bleach or not, but the processing of something. And generally that stuff's bad, right? Taking out the bits and things that are inside of extra virgin olive oil, for example, those are good things. So you process more and more and you're left with something that is generally not very good. But again, to me, that's theoretical. What we need to see is data. Do those actually, lead to worse health outcomes than other types of oils or butters or whatever? Or do they at least move markers in the wrong direction? Like this study is looking, right? They're not able to know whether these people will get heart disease. They're just able to look at this multi-lipid score and decide from that these people are likely to get heart disease. And that's a jump. That's not always accurate when people, or correct when people make that jump. But sometimes you have to. All right, we have a question here. Hey, this is a relevant question to me. Actually, it's two, and they're related. Jessica says, "How do you do your coffee now, Matt and Doug?" And Brandon Turner says, "Good question, Doug. Are you still using the French press?" So, Doug, answer that first, and then I will give you my 2 cents.
I am still using the French press. I've played a lot with the grind settings on my new grinder, and have what I feel like is a very, very good cup of coffee with a light Colombian roast from Dynamite Roaster. I really like that grinder. I think it's so much more consistent than my old one, which is really nice.
Yeah. Grinder is I don't know if I can really taste the difference. I've never really done a lot of side-by-side stuff with 2 different grinders, obviously, but it sure feels like a more satisfying experience. You see a nice consistent grind, and it just is nicer to make. I actually brought the French press with me to Florida because I didn't want to go to Starbucks every day. Like I put in that habit, and sometimes it's fun for a couple of days when you're away to go to Starbucks or something. But like I had just been at the beach, so I said I don't want to do that, and I didn't feel like bringing the Chemex, which seemed like a breaking risk, or the paper filters. And I can't pour, nice. I'm not going to bring my kettle. I did bring my little hand crank burr grinder, so that was nice. But I looked up James Hoffman, his French press technique, which I had tried before, and I don't remember being particularly impressed. But this time I tried it, and what's unique about his method is it's basically 5 minutes of the water in the coffee, no special pouring required. You just pour it on there, and then once the 5 minutes are up, you give it one stir, and then you let it sit for 5 more minutes. And during that time is when he says all the stuff is now sinking to the bottom, and that's like the big key to it. That extra 5 minutes, and also it cools, allows you to get cool enough to drink. And then you pour it very carefully. You don't actually press the thing through the coffee. You just press the thing down a little bit to provide this little extra screen in front of the pouring.
Oh, you never actually fully press down.
Right. You don't have to do that. And I don't really know why. I'm guessing that what he would say, when you press that too far, or as you press that into the coffee, you're actually stirring up a lot of bits again into the, right. Even though the big ones aren't going to get through that filter.
But is that for a single cup press or?
No, he said it's really not a big deal to leave it on the grinds.
Interesting.
Everyone always says, well, that'll make it get bitter over time. He says it doesn't. And actually it was fine. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Only the last sip or two had any like stuff in it, but it was definitely just a kind of a cleaner taste than I'm used to with French press.
I should try that, because I do a similar technique where I fill it about probably 2/3 full, let that sit for 3 minutes, and stir that. Okay. And then, because it just like sits all up at the top and kind of like bubbles up even a little bit. You stir it, mixes in, it all settles. Pour the rest of the water in, let it sit for another 3 to 4 minutes. I don't usually time it, but somewhere around there. And then I push it all the way down. So
so otherwise very similar. Well, give it a try. Try it tomorrow. Don't push it all the way down. See if there's any difference whatsoever.
Braden Turner says we should try the AeroPress. I did the AeroPress for a long time. Thanks to you. You introduced me to the AeroPress. Yep. And it makes a good cup of coffee too. But the problem is it makes 1 cup of coffee. And I drink multiple cups of coffee. And Katie. I make coffee for Katie too. So like, just a lot of work.
Yeah. I actually considered bringing the AeroPress instead of or in addition to the French press on this trip, and I didn't. For that reason, it just doesn't make enough at once, and it's just too hard. So I guess at home I'm able to just go make another cup, but when I was traveling, I didn't want to deal with that. I have not loved the AeroPress that much recently. I don't know why. Like, I got the AeroPress. I think that was sort of my gateway into more, I guess, serious, if you'd call it that, coffee drinking. But then once I got into other like actual regular pour overs and stuff, when I went back to the AeroPress, I didn't like it as much.
Huh. Do you you're still Chemex every day at home?
Yes, that's what I do. Or I have a blue bottle little pour over system thing as well, and that's pretty good too. But I don't know. Just
what about your like big lab contraption thing?
I don't use that very much. I wish I used that about once a month or every 2 weeks and would go do that. But I ran out of the filters. There's these like cloth filters, and I just don't buy them again. It's fun. I like that thing. It's more of a show than a like, it's not like that's so much better than Chemex or something. It's just another method.
Jessica says that would make your coffee taste better.
It's one show mugs. Yep, that would make it taste better. I should work on that.
Maybe we shouldn't have a Friday show, and you should actually do that instead. That's what you said last time we skipped a show. So. I
know. It'd be so easy. I probably still have it all set up. If I was logging into the site, it probably will have.
You'd probably just click of a couple buttons and it
didn't work before. We ran into a cost issue. We weren't buying enough quantity. It was going to take $15 per mug.
Yeah, but we can afford a $30 expense.
You're right. I also had some Dynamite coffee today, Doug, because my dad texted me while I was gone and said, hey, I got this light roast Dynamite coffee, because he knows I always complain that Dynamite to me is over roasted bad coffee. He said, I got this light roast and it's terrible. So he said, you got to try it. So he was watching my daughter for a couple of days while I was away, or she had gone camping and she went there afterwards. But anyway, so he sent over 23 grams of it for me to make, sent that home with her, and I made it today, and I actually didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay.
What kind was it, do you know?
I think it was from Bolivia. It said light roast. I think it said Bolivia, but I'm not really sure.
If you can find out the name, let me know. I'd be curious. Your take. What?
I will.
Does he like roast coffee?
He kind of does. He's coming around on it. He used to always like darker stuff, but he typically buys Dynamite, but he doesn't love it. He's okay with it.
What does he drink? The Daymaker or?
I don't actually know.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that.
Anyway, yeah. There was another question about raising plant-based kids. Do we want to save that for tomorrow? Anna wrote the question. Do we want to
let's answer it now since she's here today.
Okay.
And put it in.
Question about raising vegan kids. Do you guys experience any pushback from your partners on the idea of raising them vegan? If so, how do you approach that? My partner isn't keen on the idea. I would say that both of us are lucky and fortunate enough to have partners who are also vegan, or in the case of my wife, 99% vegan, vegan at home. So no, not any pushback from us. But I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't question it sometimes whether I'm doing the right decision.
Yeah, that's the same thing. My wife also was vegan. She went vegan when I went vegan, so no pushback as far as raising our kids that way. But like you said, Doug, I do question it now more. I guess I have more questions for them than I do for myself. Like we've said before, like
Mhm.
it's easier to take a risk for yourself than it is with your kids. Uh, it, I don't know. It's just hard. You don't want to imagine that you would make a decision that would end up leading to their brain not developing as much or whatever, them not growing as tall. Although that's not that big a deal, but um, and those are criticisms I've heard before. So I guess I fully understand. Like if I were not vegan, well, yeah, like if I ate anyway, and my partner came along and ate some way that I considered extreme, I'd say let's err on the side of caution and let's have them eat much more in the normal way and maybe incorporate some elements of the more extreme diet, but let's limit our risk by having them eat the way that most people eat. And we'll do the things that are clearly good choices, like not eating a lot of fast food and stuff, eating whole foods. But as far as what specific whole foods they should eat, let's kind of go for the normal, and then let's incorporate a little bit of the strange or the extreme or whatever. So I guess I understand where your partner's coming from. That's what I'm.
Long way to but that's not very helpful to her right now. I mean, I think
Well, no, but I think the way to be helpful is understand, as you probably have, Anna, put yourself in your partner's shoes, and like it's just not the diet that we most people have eaten for thousands of years is one, and not that we eat that diet now, but like it has a long track record, right? Saying it makes people who end up being of normal health, and modern health is not very good. So that's why I said emphasize whole foods and things like that. But I understand why somebody wouldn't want to do something that deviates from that. Why they'd be very skeptical about something that deviates from the traditional diet that we know, is reliable enough. So I guess what I would say is, I personally, I'd compromise. I'd say, okay, we'll make sure they eat a very high plant forward diet. Look at Mediterranean, look at flexitarian, and they'll eat way healthier than almost everybody. And then your partner can also be happy that they don't have to be fully vegan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but but you don't know why she wants her kids to be vegan. So, or maybe they want to be vegan. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, so for me, my advice would be to do what I do, which is to give myself peace of mind that I'm not screwing up my kids. Is be diligent about omega-3 supplements in particular. I give them, or they eat protein powder and smoothies, and even just like chocolate protein and milk shakes sometimes. Pretty regularly, and like, so like protein, omega-3s, I make sure they get their B12 and other vitamins too. So just, being really diligent about the like question marks that I have in my own head, and that gives myself peace of mind. And I would imagine that would help give a partner a little bit of peace of mind as well. But,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I mean, like, my one daughter's relatively short, and I wondered if that's in part because she's never had animal products before, or with any.
Yeah, I've seen data saying that vegan children will grow to be 1 or 2 inches shorter than non-vegan children.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, isn't necessarily the wrong thing, right?
Right.
Like, because people who you could drink a ton of milk growing up, and you could grow up as a large child, and that's not necessarily good, right? It could be good, could not be good. By the way, we were talking about health stuff. I don't know for sure. Anna said her partner is pushing back. It could be pushing back on the social implications of that,
Mm-hmm.
because that's also a thing, and I understand why that would be much simpler not to have that restriction. And so, unless your ethical stuff says my children cannot ingest an animal product, then I think the thing where you can make a really big impact on the lives of animals is have them eat a little bit of meat or a little bit of dairy, not have strict rules. That allows them to still enjoy the social stuff and not have to deal with some of the pressure that would be upsetting. But as far as their health goes, perhaps not make them any less healthy than a fully vegan diet does, and still help a lot of animals. So I don't know. As you can tell, I like those kind of diets. That flexitarian, Mediterranean.
Yeah.
I just think it's something that for most people is so much more practical. If you have the ethical thing like we do that says we don't want to eat animals, then that's a different thing. But I think for the vast majority of people, the right thing is something that is, they don't have to make major sacrifices and they can still help a lot of animals.
Braden Turner suggests to check out Kimberly Snyder. She has a suggestion on that, pretty well known. I believe if you haven't heard about her, she has a podcast. So check out Kimberly Snyder.
Okay. Very good. All right, good. Thank you for the questions. Now we got to the end of the show.
Hey,
So
all right.
Jessica, Brandon, and Anna deserve a gold star for the questions.
And everyone else, head over to Discord. I'll put out a little thread here right after the show asking for questions for tomorrow.
Okay. Sounds good. Friday show, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Be there.
Bye.